This is AC Scar, this is AC Starlight, aka Austin. Welcome back to my channel, and this has been a long way review. I saw this movie during this week again, and this movie is a very fantastic, funny, amazing movie. You have Chris Farley back there as the Beverly Hills Ninja. Um, this movie is for the iconic comedic actor Chris Farley, but also iconic comedic comedy movies of all times, way back in the early 90s to early 2000s. This movie is very, very hard for me to probably going to review because I did a written review because this movie was shown by my half brother that's no longer alive, but also struggled with the same things as Chris Farley here, drugs and not as much as alcohol, but drugs. And they both tragically died, but for both of them, they were both funny, hilarious and charismatic of what they're doing in their life. They were very small, smart. They were very both smart. My half brother was very smart, but also can in his own little comedy that he had, he can also act dumb and funny at the same time. And that's what my half brother did. But that's also what Chris Farley did. He was very funny. He was very funny, smart, and dumb at the same time of how he wanted to play his character's roles. So in this movie, he plays the Great White Ninja, Haru, the Great White Ninja, and he's like a ninny. He's a very, he's not a very good ninja. He stumbles, he crumbles, he, um, trips over things, and he gets hired from a woman named Sally Jones, and then he finds out her real name towards the middle of the movie. He's hired to take down her her boyfriend or ex-fiance, and then funny things ensue. You have Chris Rock in here. He's trained Chris Rock to be the first ever black ninja of the legend of the Black Ninja. Quotes from the actual movie. And he has his brother. He also has his Asian brother follow him, make sure he doesn't get into any more trouble or helping him along the way. But this what really makes this movie so funny is that he's very like not the smartest or create he's not the smartest or the brightest ninja in the bunch. And that's what makes this movie so funny, but also the funny situations he gets himself into. And just Chris Farley had a way to make this character work. Even Tommy Boy, and also Black Sheep, and also Almost Hero, Lunch Lady with Adam Sandler. He was also part of the legendary SNL cast when he also played that girl in the uh, mall. Uh, Food Court, also The Bears. He was also part of that skit. He was also in a lot of legendary skits of in SNL, but also when he branched out his own career, this is one of the best movies that he made. Very funny, very he wasn't like I said, wasn't a great ninja, but like he he was just so out there. Like I said, this movie is very hard for me to review because this is reminds me of my half brother. My half brother showed me this movie and his other catalog of movies, and it's just how they both were. They both were funny, especially Chris Farley. Chris Farley makes me laugh every single time we watch Tommy Boy, or we watch this movie, or we watch Black Sheep, or Almost Hero, or any of his other movies. He just had to make a way to make you laugh. Like Time Boy and Black Sheep are kind of like sequels, but they're not. But they kind of fit in the same universe. This one is kind of standing on its own. It's kind of like makes you think a little differently. Like, what's a guy from Agent Chinatown going to Beverly Hills and then spend his money on a zebra leopard print jacket and dress like a pimp? Like he didn't know, like, oh, like Chris Rock's like, you dress like a pimp. Oh, thank you. He didn't know what that meant. He also said, like someone said, when he was driving, called him asshole, and he called the guy that went to the hotel asshole, like, thank you, asshole. He didn't know these common things. Like, he's in ancient Chinatown. He never went to Beverly Hills. His first time Beverly Hills, investigating that lady that hired him to take him down, and he does that. He does it in so funny, comedic ways. The brother in this was also in a Street Fighter, one and two, I believe. But he was also a good martial artist, and he was in this movie. It was fun to see him in there. It's just a fun comedy movie that's hilarious, and I highly recommend you guys checking this out if you haven't seen it. But this movie reminds me of my half brother, and this movie is always going to remind me of my half brother, and it's an important movie in my life. I didn't even own it till a couple days ago. It was only $12 at the movies anywhere. Um, I was trying to find it on Blu-ray or even DVD just because it's a iconic movie for me to have in my collection because I already have Tommy Boy and Black Sheep and Almost Heroes on there for $12, so I'm gonna get that too. But it was also with the late Matthew Perry. Um, so yeah, and everyone loved him, like Adam Sandler, all that stuff. Like, even Adam Sandler said, like, if Chris Farley was still alive, he would have had a role in Grown Ups 1 and 2. That would have been Kevin James. That would have been Chris Farley. That would have been Chris Farley's role right there as a parent, teaching his kids how to, you know, live life by the lake and whatnot. He would also probably be in like Pixels and a whole bunch of different movies if he didn't die. But everyone loved him. Even the guy who played uh, Saul and Breaking Bad knew him. He was also written stuff for him. Chris Rock. So he was with among alumni of SNL before and with Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, David Spade, Rob Schneider, the guy from Breaking Bad, and a whole bunch of different people. And they did a documentary on how they loved him and all that stuff like that. And I watched it, and it was a very good documentary. He's with those. He's always going to be part of those legends, but he's not around. But he's always going to be part of those group of legends of the alumni of that SNL, being Chris Rock, Adam Sandler, David Spade, and Rob Schneider. And he worked with all of them in different movies. He worked with him in Adam Sandler's movies like Billy Madison. He played the bus driver. Um, he worked with David Spade twice on Black Sheep and um, Tommy Boy. So I mean, those are so many movies. This movie is just iconic when he's working with Chris Rock, and it's just a cool ninja comedy movie. So I highly recommend checking this out if you can. Go buy it on Movies Anywhere, go find it on Blu-ray, or find it somewhere that's streaming, or however you can find this, because this movie is just an iconic movie, and I can't let it go my mind and my heart because this is technically my half brother. He's my half brother in a nutshell. So if you like this video, put a like, comment, put a like. If you like this video, put a like, comment, subscribe, and notification bell, and deuces.